So the savior functions, right, your dominant functions, they seem to be following the same kind of structure of addiction. It seems to be a normal part of the human wiring. It's not necessarily a bad thing. You get in a health routine and you become addicted to that health routine. You find a positive person in your life or a positive TV show or a positive Netflix show, and you become addicted to that show. And that isn't a bad thing. If it's a good show, if it's a good person, you're addicted to something good. But it's this neurological feedback pattern of, I apply this action, and this thing happens, it gives me a positive feeling back, and I keep doing it again and again. The more you do it, the more you want to do it, right? The savior functions seem to be working along the same mechanism of addictions. Let's say you're addicted to tapping your feet, or addicted to chewing your fingernails, or addicted to sniffing a lot, right? You ever meet somebody that sniffs every 5 seconds? Or addicted to chewing with their mouth open, or addicted to cigarettes, or addicted to junk food? Do you think that they're aware of how many times per day they're doing that? No, not even a little. I mean, they're aware of it. They know they do it. They know they have it, but there's a disconnect of how insane it is, right? So we're consistently seeing this, especially with people that are typing themselves wrong. Their lead TE, or their lead NI, or lead SE, or lead SI, lead function, whatever. And they're doing their first function over and over again, browbeating the hell out of everyone in their life with their first function. Everyone in their life can't stand them. Everyone in their life knows what they're super imbalanced about, but the person's like, what? I do it a little bit. I don't even like it that much. It's not that big a deal. You're like, what the hell? And I can't see my addiction. You can't see your addiction. Like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense why people are so delusional of themselves. And let me kind of like break that down a little bit. People that are really smart, I have so much respect for, just know this stuff forward and backward, know PhD level people, right? But when it comes to, hey, what do you know about yourself in this area? Just completely ass over their head, just delusional, right? And they're falling into this kind of addiction zone where they can't see that they just unconsciously on autopilot are doing this first function all the time. They don't think it's a big deal. They don't think that's anything abnormal. They don't think that that's their type. They're just completely unaware, And when you're able to kind of walk them through it, kind of define your terms and say, hey, look at this, look at that, then they have this like, holy shit, that's actually what I'm doing. That's what type I am. So I've been doing this my whole life. I went through the same kind of thing. I thought I was one type for many years and started to realize I'm actually something else. That explains this. That explains that. Oh my gosh, I am doing this. I am doing that. Oh, this is what everyone's been trying to tell me. I keep seeing this about me, right? The most important thing, the most important takeaway that we're finding bottom line with saviors, demons, your stupid personality type that nobody cares about because we all hate you anyways, self-growth, self-help, science, all this shit, right? The most important thing seems to be, in my opinion, ready? Triangulation, teamwork, objectivity, listening to the advice of your closest friends and family. If you really want to track reality, you cannot get lost in your head asking yourself. That is what we've consistently see is people in our class that end up doing really good versus the people that end up getting worse over time. 100% of the people that get worse over time or stay the same, their God is asking themselves inside their own head. Number one thing, they ask themselves, it has to make sense to them, it has to feel right to them, they have to go look into their little savior bag, and it has to work for them. The people that are moving and making progress are the people that are listening to others, doing research outside of themselves, and it's those people that are able to slowly start making progress up out of the hole. I don't know. It gets me a lot of thinking about like personality disorders where the addiction just gets out of control and it just becomes unstoppable to where somebody gets so much in this addiction to their savior functions that the outside world just becomes the fucking enemy and they become lost. You can never get through to them because you're only proving that the demons are real. They double down on their saviors and they just get lost in this addiction of listening and following their two savior functions and then trying to get a function balance. It has nothing to do with knowledge or information. It has to do with workouts and practice and discipline and wearing down that stronger addiction and building up the weaker addiction. For example, if you have lead NI, you got to dial down on the addiction to NI and start to get a little bit more addicted to SE to create that balance. And it follows the same structure as if you were trying to learn a new habit, a new behavior, a new addiction.